Okay, as usual, the shit all over the place. But it's good shit. The girls are trying to learn how to do sign language. Um, so we've got these things so they can spell stuff out. Their own idea, so can't be too hard on them, I guess. But they do leave it all over the place. I'm sure, as the dads out there would get. It's a bit boring, but never mind. Kids will be kids, right? So equally, I left these on the table. So and equally, I've got my shoes on. So as I promised, I would open up the Sealey MIG. It might be smaller than I anticipated, but it's heavier, which is a good quality. Good means good quality. I don't know. But let's see if we can get into it. I'll give you an honest opinion about what I think about the quality of it. I don't know anything about welders, like I said, so it could be awful or it could be really good at it. I'll give you an impression of what I think of it first. If I can get it out. There we go. From the garage, so I've got a bit of space to do these plier pits, so that's a really good box, so I can use that. As I say, I don't know much about MIG welders, but I guess that seems like an average. Doesn't seem really overly strong, but doesn't really seem overly weak and cheap either. So I guess it's a medium thing. That, so let's try and lift it out. Not too sure. I should have done that. Let's try and lift it out of there. Like I said. A little bit like I know nothing about getting things out of polystyrene either. I have to say, the tinny thing, I think that's probably just the standard, but it doesn't. I don't like the fact that it feels tinny. But that's the outer. I guess what I really care about is the inner, right? So I have to scratch out the table. The gun. Plasticated. I'm going to try and be American on this, so plasticated. Make up a word. Sorry, Americans that are watching. And I haven't been overly gushy or overly happy. I've just been very English about the whole thing. I watched the last video through that I did last time, and the way I said I'm really excited, it seemed like I was the least excited person in the world, but that's just me, I guess. I'm not the most emotional of people. Unless I'm having a meltdown at work, and then I guess I am. So, the gun. Is that what it's called? The gun? Seems like it probably would be called that. The power outlet, which I am pleased to say is an English 3-pin. I have bought things on eBay before, and it's come through with all sorts of weird Chinese couplings and no ability for me to even plug it in. So that's good, but that's probably my own stupidity. Seems like a good solid cable. and that seems like a good solid plug as well. 13 amp fuse in there, which is good. So much plastic, isn't it? And doesn't seem too bad. It's copper, good conductor of electricity, and yeah, good spring. Seems like a pretty solid thing. I don't know anything about anything, but it seems okay. I can only tell you what my perception is. Now, this is heavier than I thought, but it is a roll of metal, so I don't know why I thought it would be light. My stupidity coming out there. So let's get in, try and take this off without making a mess. It's got protection on it. And there we go. Everything comes out the front. You'd have thought that the power would go into the back so that it wasn't in the way of all the other cords. So I guess I'm just going to have to be careful when I'm doing it that I keep that cord really out the way so it doesn't get in the way of the key welding torch. Like I said, I know very little bit about these things. That will change the speed at which the wire comes out, and we'll open it up in a minute and see that mechanism. The min and the max, I would imagine I'll only ever do min because I don't want to burn through the sheet metal. I've got sheet metal that's 3 mil thick, and a power on and off, so it's pretty basic. Yeah, pretty basic. Now I've got to try and figure out what these mean because I know that it tells me the speed at which I should be going when I weld. And I guess other things that I need to know is how long to weld for before to stop so I don't overheat and warp the metal. These are all things I had until I started going on the internet and on YouTube. I had no idea about, but I've always liked the idea of welding and building metal things. So I guess having a meltdown at work and quitting, it's given me the opportunity to do these things. So that's kind of cool. So pretty simple lift up mechanism. And close, and there's the handle, which I guess is going to go like that. That means I can carry it around. How am I going to carry it around? It's never going to work because that will just open. I'll worry about that later, shall I? So, not the... Actually, I would have thought the silly gas masks would have had those welding masks in there. But all the other ones seem to. Maybe the cheapy ones, this is a cheapy one, but maybe the really cheapy ones have them, I don't know. So that's what you get. That doesn't seem like a lot. I'm quite interested about this. So I don't even know whether I should practice with this stuff or just go out and get a better core flux wire. And again, I know nothing about them, so I'm just going to go down to the local weld shop and ask them, tell them what I'm trying to do, what type of welding I'm trying to do, and ask them what they get. And I guess they might tell me the most expensive one, because they know that I don't know anything. But I guess better to go expensive than and do it well rather than cheap and struggle. So yeah, so this is a lot thinner than I was thinking it would be. And I guess I'm going to try to put that back in there so it doesn't unravel itself, because I imagine there is a way of doing it properly. And it tells me how to box. I'm also putting things into storage, and it tells me about maintenance. But I'm not going to worry about maintenance yet. I just want to get going. So anyway, that's it. I'll give you a quick show. As I say, doesn't feel too tacky. Switches make a bit of a twangy noise, but you know, they're switches at the end of the day, as long as I don't get electrocuted on this stuff. This is plastic with some metal bearings in there. So it's got metal parts at least. Seems somewhat sturdy. I wouldn't expect it to be absolutely solid on something that costs this much, but who knows? I guess the proof will be in the pudding. So that's it. I'm going to sign off. I want to make some dinner, and yeah, and then tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Hopefully soon, I should be able to test this bad boy out and see how an awful welder I am. What a terrible mistake I've made with everything. But we'll see. I'm going to be positive rather than negative. The whole reason I quit was because I was becoming that negative person that I hated so much. So be positive. It looks okay. It'll do the job. I'll angle grind it to make it look pretty, and then I'm going to paint it anyway. So the outside anyway. So I'm sure it'll be fine. Where there is a will, there is a way. Right. Okay. So I'm looking at putting the spool on. I've done nothing other than take it off the table so that you can look down into it, I guess. And yeah, and now I'm going to just see. I've read the instructions. They're not exactly complicated, but this is one of the things that I always want to see in a review. I'm not reviewing this, but in anything that I'm doing, I always like to see how to set it up. And it seems from the super short instructions that this should be really easy. So firstly, it says take the nut off, easy. And then take this off, and we're inserting the spool and the wire. Let's try and keep that straight down so I know it's that way up. And then it says the wire needs to come out front facing, which I guess is that way, and on the same side as the wire. So if I put it on the reel here, then if it was on that side, it would be coming out here, and on this side, it's going to go straight down this pipe here. So that's good. So I'm going to put it on, and it says to push down. Well, it says don't let the wire unravel. So let me just not let the wire unravel first. And then it says to put it down. It should be springy. Push it down gently and put the pressure disc back on. And apparently what you want to do is not put it on so tight that put it on so that it has a bit of a braking mechanism there. And then take the nut and put the nut on, the wing nut. And I guess that needs to be quite tight. So there's a bit of braking there. Maybe I'll put it on a little bit tight, I don't know. Let's do it like that and then see what happens, I guess. So my watch just stopped as well. Brilliant. So So now I need to feed it through there. It's going to go through this pipe, little pipey thing here, through the mechanism, through between these spinners. That's going to mean that it feeds it, and then into the pipe here, which I can feel that the pipe, there's a solid conduit in there that's going to feed the wire through. So it says to basically open this up a little bit so that you can take it off and then pull that open. That seemed fairly straightforward. It then said that I need to keep a hold of it, okay, and straighten 40 to 50 mil. 40 to 50 mil. So what I'm going to do is, rather than straighten this quirky bit, which means it will be a bit weird and scratchy going through, I'm going to just cut that bit off, and then I'm going to pop. I'm going to spin it so that it doesn't come unraveled, and then I'm going to feed it in. It's nice and smooth. It's coming out nice and smooth, and I can see there that it's come out of the other side of the little white pipe, and I'm just going to put my finger on it and guide it into the channel that takes it into the machine and out through the spool. What I might do is just use this because I can't get my fingers in there. There you go, it's in there. So that seems to be fairly good. And then, once I've done that, release the wire from this into the torch liner. Right, so referring to figure 4, move the pressure roll molding back round to the groove there. So move that back to there. Now we're going to have to loosen it a bit because the wire's in there now, and close it up. And then I'm going to tighten it just a little bit. And that's going to make it, so doing this bolt, that's a tensioner, it pushes this harder into the other roller and grips the wire tightly. So I don't know, it's probably better to start with it under pressured and then increase it, I guess. So just making sure that's tight, that's fed through, that's closed off, and I don't think anything else needs to be messed around with. Okay, I'm just going to read on in the instructions and then I'll come back to you and tell you the rest. Okay, so it said to take off the nozzle, which is turning it in an anti-clockwise direction. I tried to do it in a clockwise direction and couldn't go anywhere. And now I'm unscrewing it. And I should find myself with this silver bit and the nib. Doesn't seem to be wanting to do it. Doesn't seem to be wanting to tighten up either. All right, I have to sort this out. Bear with me. Okay, so I continue to twist it, and I was doing it right, holding it like this, twisting, going clockwise till it slid off. Now I've got this bit, and I've got this bit. It's told me to switch the unit off on the green button, which I have done. To switch it to min, the amperage to min, which I have done. and the wire spool feed to 5 to 6, which I have done, and then I have plugged it in. Then wants me to keep the cable as straight as possible, and I guess then turn it on and press the trigger, which won't do anything at the moment because it's still not switched on, and allow the wire to spool through. Stop working. I don't know where that is. It's annoying, isn't it? I thought it was going to be so easy. It's not, so bear with me. Okay, so I think it's sorted. Where is it? So you can see it's protruded. I've put it all back on. Really important to push and twist it in the same way as you unlock it, which is really counterintuitive, but seemed to have worked. It says cut it off about 1 centimeter, so I've done that, and there it is, ready to rock and to weld, and to electrocute myself, no doubt. I've checked the roller speed, the roller tension, and that was by having a trigger, pulling the trigger, and just with gloved hands, although I didn't use it, which I regretted because it did pull my fingers into here, but it says to slow the wire down manually by holding it, and see what happens to the pressure, um, wheel. If the pressure wheel, when you slow it down, just spins without moving the wire, then that's the correct pressure. So that's what I've got. So it's all set up. I'm quite happy with it. It seems to be not horrific quality. I mean, that's not great there, really. It's just a screw through it, but it's the cover. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy. I mean, I'm not happy with the quality of this camera work. I think I can sort that out on my Chromebook. I'm not too sure. Otherwise, I'll do it on my phone and download it. But yeah, easy. And now I've got to go because I'm late to get shit ready. I need to go and get dinner ready for the girls that are about to come back. So I'll speak to you later. And the next time you see me, we'll be trying this shit out and probably electrocuting myself, which is probably something to watch, and seeing whether I can get a decent weld, and laughing at the fact that my first try will be terrible and I'll burn stuff and splatter myself with hot metal and all sorts. So sounds like it's going to be fun. I'm quite excited about it. So see you soon. Bye. Feed it in.